I'll start this with, you all got to see Lily's picture, right? Yeah, let's have a hand for Lily. Happy birthday, Lily. Do you want us to sing to you too, or are you good at what we've done so far?
Are you going to do lip singing?
No, I don't know that.
We know you lost the last one.
In full disclosure, Dave and Ellen produced that thing. I just was the official photographer and distributor of information.
There's another one coming. The box little pony.
We need to move on if you're done.
I wasn't.
Chief, do you have a task for her to do? Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. I know everybody is busy, and friends and family for coming. To those who are receiving awards today, I would be remiss if I didn't introduce my oldest daughter, Kira, and my granddaughter, Cody Sage. So thank you for coming. And at this time, I'd like to have Chaplain Roscoe please come forward and speak a few words. Thank you, sir, for being here.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Privilege. Our privilege.
Good morning. It is a good meeting to attend, and I'm always happy to be here, and I'm always happy whenever I can be with all of you in blue, and appreciate you all very, very much for all you do. And speaking to you first this morning, I want to tell you to be encouraged. Be encouraged, because you're not alone. Even at O Dark 30 and Wilder, you are not alone. And here's why I know that. From Psalms 121, I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time and even forevermore. So God said it, I believe it, that settles it. You are not alone. God bless you. Join me in prayer. Lord, we're just so grateful to be here this morning to celebrate with those who are being recognized for their extraordinary work, service, and commitment. We're so grateful, God, that we have a community such as this one and an office such as the Canyon County Sheriff that protects and serves with dignity, with honor, and with respect for everyone. I'm so honored to be here today, God, and I thank you for the privilege that is mine to be a part of this organization and to share in the great calling that you have placed on the hearts of these men and women to be law enforcement officers. Bless our time together as we celebrate. Bless those who are being recognized, and bless those who even now are out there keeping our city and our county safe. And we will give you all the thanks in the Master's name. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. We sure appreciate you being here. And of course, we truly couldn't do this job without you and your guidance and support that you always give this office, and actually everyone in the Treasure Valley. So thank you. God bless you for what you do. Those are great words that Bill said this morning. And you know, a couple things come to mind. Deborah always tries to help me find a quote, and today she left me hanging. That's all right. I found one. She had other things to do. No, she doesn't leave me hanging ever. She's great. But it's interesting that you read that about courage, because the only thing I could really think of is a sign that I saw from John Wayne, right? And I don't know if he's the one that came up with it, but certainly on the thing that he had put out one time, and it said, "Courage is being scared to death and saddling up anyway." And I really think that encompasses what law enforcement does, what we all do, what you all do. Because there's times, let's face it, their fear is high, but the men and women of law enforcement and our support staff, we plow in regardless of what happens, regardless of what's going to happen. And that brings up my second point. We've had a tremendous amount of deaths in our law enforcement communities across the nation. This week is no exception, and it just heightens or points out, underscores the enormous dangers that law enforcement faces today. And I think it's better in terms of the rhetoric. It's better than a year ago. It's better than 2 years ago. I think you're seeing a tremendous shift in the right direction to support our men and women in law enforcement and our support staff who are there for us every day. But a correctional officer killed this week. There's just no exceptions to who's been exposed to the dangers. So keep that in mind, and when we talk about that today, keep them in your thoughts and your prayers. I certainly do, and like Bill said, there's people out there today, while we're enjoying this time, they're out there doing what we ask them to do. So with that, as you all know, these award ceremonies are just a small part and a way of us giving recognition, needed, grateful recognition to those people who in our organization who have reached certain milestones and accomplishments and have accomplished deeds over and above the call of duty. So at this time, I'd like to recognize those individuals who are receiving their gold badges for 20 years of dedicated service. So most of you know, at 20 years, they don a gold badge versus our silver badge. And 20 years of dedicated service, 20 years is a long time. It's a long time in this business. It's a long time period, but in this business it's even more emphasized. So if I could have the following people come forward: Deputy Bryce Smith, Deputy Trevor Heim, Deputy Stephen Craig, Corporal Lily Heiser, Trudy Crine, and Robert Thomas. If you'd all step forward. Trudy, come on up. Queen Heiser, if you'd step. And I know some of these people are working and can't be here, so Bryce, okay. Bryce, congratulations. I know there's a camera here somewhere. We have to look at it. Lily, I'm coming around here. Congratulations. Congratulations. Read your lips.
No, you haven't.
Slow today.
And Trudy, obviously you do not wear a badge like the others, but we want to present you with this plaque with a gold badge on it. Congratulations and thank you for your service. And Robert, as you know, Thomas is most of you know, is out on FMLA and could not be here for today, so again, keep him in your prayers as well. Thank you all, Bryce, Lily, Trudy, for those 20 years, and I know we give Lily a hard time, but quite frankly, she does a heck of a job for us.
It's been the easiest 20 years for me.
Technically, you've only worked for me 6.5 plus years, but technically. But thank you for, anyway. I'm sorry, Chief, I know she's right across the hall from you. That's a strong man right there.
And I'm a strong woman.
I just gotta quit talking to her, honest to God, sorry. Employee of the month, we're going to recognize the last 6 months employees of the month, and these are employees who have been recognized, nominated by supervisors or other individuals who recognize something that they did in particular, and then that goes in front of the, those recommendations, nominations go in front of the command staff, and the command staff reviews that, and so the first one we have is for January of this year, Employee of the Month. And if I could have Deputy Bill Patchett come forward, please. Deputy Patchett, you have been nominated by Lieutenant Dale Stafford. I read these literally from the nominations themselves. So it starts, since Deputy Patchett has been in personnel, the Sheriff's Office has been able to process and hire people in a more efficient manner than in the past. Deputy Patchett spends a lot of time actively recruiting individuals for the Sheriff's Office while still allowing himself to be available to assist field services and assist with training needs. When a group of individuals are hired, he is at the jail early in the morning to greet the new employees and make sure they are where they need to be. Deputy Patchett also stays in contact with the jail to keep staff apprised of the testing and progress of the new hire roster. Deputy Paget has set an example of what all members of the office should strive to follow. And I concur with that, as does the nominating, or the command staff. We appreciate your efforts, Bill. It's been a real pleasure having you here, of course, but taking over on personnel, we put a lot on you, so we appreciate all the work you're doing. Absolutely. February Employee of the Month, if I could have Esther Gayton come forward. You can stand closer.
Don't do it.
We won't send a picture out. Well, not yet. You were nominated by Julie, your supervisor. Esther has shown great diligence this past year with training new employees and taking full responsibility of the public records requests. Esther has worked at the front counter in records for the past 5 years and was ready for more responsibility. She has grown leaps and bounds while taking on the duties of the primary public records release specialist. This is an important position as she is responsible for safeguarding the personal information of victims and investigative information of the Sheriff's Office, while ensuring the public has access to needed information. She has completed over 869 public record requests since October of 2017, averaging 144 a month. Esther has the ongoing task of updating our public records release procedure. She also has been taking on the additional task of police report breakdowns and processing evidence requests. Esther has a positive attitude and puts the best perspective on all situations. Esther, I know that is a tough job up there. I know that we appreciate what you've been doing and what you are doing. Please continue. This is just a small token of our appreciation. You're welcome. That's a lot of public record requests, and there's a lot of information to go through. Okay, and March Employee of the Month, if I could have Kim Dixon come forward. Kim. Kim has been with us how long now? 9 months. 9-10 months. Great asset, great addition to our team. We greatly appreciate you leaving Spillman and coming to us. We appreciate that. Glad to have you here. You were nominated by Roxanne Wade. Data analyst technician Kim Dixon has several years of experience as a dispatcher and has worked for Spillman for approximately 3 years. Kim's vast knowledge with Spillman has made a great impact with our Spillman system. She provides training, introducing new methods such as workflow and an event table to use within the system. Kim has helped keep our agency and our partnering agencies moving forward with the changes that make all of our jobs easier and efficient. Kim is an asset to the Sheriff's Office. She is dependable and takes pride in her work. She works well with her peers, police, fire, and EMS personnel, and has a positive attitude and communicates well with everyone involved. Kim, it's our pleasure to not only continue to welcome you here, but show our appreciation, and I would again agree with Roxanne's nomination. We appreciate it, absolutely. April Employee of the Month, Detective Jennifer Haynes, if I could have you come forward. I tried to help her through the door this morning with the amount of stuff she was carrying, and I thought, you know what? She's tougher than I am. I'll just stand by and let her. I asked her, she said she had it all. So. You didn't share any of it either, just so you know.
Well, no, because then the soda would fall out.
Yeah. I wish we had that photo, actually. You were nominated by Sergeant Chuck Gentry of CID. During the months of March, April 2018, Detective Haynes was tasked to investigate several major crime cases for the Canyon County Sheriff's Office. As always, Detective Haynes went above and beyond during the course of her investigations. One case involved 2 victims of aggravated battery, requiring both of them to be hospitalized. The suspects in the case fled the scene and were eventually taken into custody after a standoff with police. This incident involved multiple suspects, multiple victims, and witnesses, which often tends to make it difficult to decipher what happened. Jennifer worked hard and was instrumental in putting the pieces together for a prosecutable case. During this time, along with her heavy caseload, large-scale aggravated battery case, and on-call responsibilities, Jennifer also assumed the role of our victim witness coordinator. Not only did she assume the role of victim witness coordinator, she did it in the manner that represented the Sheriff's Office in an extremely positive way and in line with the mission of our agency. Jennifer, congratulations, and I know you get a lot of big cases and you're doing a great job of them, so thank you. Keep up the good work, we appreciate it. She currently has a very high profile and public case going on right now, and so it's very glad to have her on that case. May Employee of the Month, Christine Winseldorf. Could you come forward? I know I saw you come in. There you are. You were nominated by Sergeant Brian Crawford. On April 26, 2018, deputies responded to 478 2nd Street in notice for a recovered stolen vehicle. While on scene, Sergeant Crawford located a truck bed off a new Ford pickup. The bed matched that of a vehicle stolen out of Nampa in December 2017. Sergeant Crawford contacted the owner of the pickup, Trevor Heim, which was Trevor Heim, one of our employees, and sent him photographs of the pickup bed. Trevor stated it looked like the bed of his truck but could not be sure. Sergeant Crawford contacted dispatcher Christine Wenzeldorf by phone and explained the situation. Christine ran every number of the truck bed but found no results. Christine then called the dealership where it was purchased and confirmed the numbers and the paint color. Christine contacted Ford Motor Company and tried to get more information, but Ford stated they no longer stamped an identifying number on the bed itself. Christine then contacted the National Insurance Crime Bureau and provided them with all the information she had gathered. With the information she provided, they were able to say it was more likely than not that it was in fact Trevor's stolen truck bed. Christine spent several hours and went above and beyond to obtain the information. Without Christine's help, Sergeant Crawford would not have been able to confirm what his instincts had told him. Christine is a valuable asset to the Sheriff's Office. Nice work, Christine. I mean, it's a lot of legwork, but I know that you're tenacious. We appreciate your efforts in there, so thank you very much. And Employee of the Month for June. If I could have Corporal Russ Bowers come forward, please. Corporal, you were nominated by Sergeant Betty Cousins, sorry. I got it right in a second. Sort of.
Sorry.
Betty. The one we're all afraid of. Corporal Bowers has been nominated as Employee of the Month for his role in the Pod 2 Unit G riot fight that was charged as a riot. That I had to say that on television, so I was reiterating. That took place on June 6, 2018. Corporal Bowers responded to the incident, recognized the serious nature, and took command of the crime scene. Corporal Bowers became vested in the proper handling of the situation after seeing the magnitude of the conflict and asked permission to assist with video review. Once Corporal Bowers was given permission, he began his investigation by watching video of the incident, using his uncanny ability to recognize inmates, and was able to track their involvement in the incident itself. Corporal Bowers reviewed hours of video, tracking and making detailed notes of the inmates and their involvement. He then wrote an impeccable, well-detailed report of what he witnessed on camera, breaking down each action taken and by whom. The thoroughness of his investigation, reports, and time spent on each detail will support the potential of criminal convictions for rioting with the gang enhancement of the inmates involved. Corporal Bowers went above and beyond the call of duty by assisting the team involved with the situation and volunteering to complete the video review portion of the investigation. This relieved some of the stress for the team supervisor that was short-staffed and already overwhelmed. The value in his investigation provided the tools to criminally charge the inmates involved. This will hopefully send a message of deterrence to other inmates involved with gang activity from engaging in similar acts within the facility or face further criminal charges, helping the facility become safer for the inmates and deputies. Based on Corporal Bowers' willingness to go above and beyond to assist with this investigation, shows the core values of this agency and deserves a recognition for his efforts. And as an update, Corporal Bowers, 12 individuals have been recently indicted by a grand jury, in no small part of your efforts to assist with this. That is a very significant case. It carries a very significant prison sentence with the gang enhancement, and that would not have been possible without all of the staff's assistance, but specifically with the review of that video and your ability to recognize these inmates. So congratulations, thank you so much. Really, really good case, and obviously it's in adjudication right now, but we have all the faith in the world that it will come out the right way. So thank you for all the deputies and officers and people involved in that particular case. It's a big one, and it's paramount that we do send a message that it's not to be tolerated in our facility. So we just saw 6 months of Employees of the Month for a variety of things. I think that theme stands true. These people going above and beyond outside of our regular duty responsibilities, so it's very nice to be able to recognize them. Next, we'd like to recognize and acknowledge the recipients who have received a promotion since the last award ceremony. We value all of our members, of course, but we are especially pleased to watch someone who rises to the challenge presented in a leadership role. If I could have Dar Anderson, and whose corporal got promoted to Corporal Security Services Detention Center, and Marissa Rayborn, the Communications Officer. Are they here? Didn't know if I saw it. There's Marissa, I saw it, yes. So congratulations, we're going to get a photograph here. We appreciate it. Appreciate you taking on the extra duties and the efforts that you're doing too as well. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Next, we will move to the Good Conduct Ribbon. And the Good Conduct Ribbon may be awarded to members who perform an act of humanity to those in need while on or off duty by attending to them in a time of crisis, accident, or danger, and for providing them with understanding and confidence. We have a whole host of individuals that I'm going to call forward for a particular event, and then I'll read that nomination. So if I could have Sergeant Daniels, Sergeant Crawford, who I think Sergeant Crawford's on vacation, I think Daniels is as well. Corporal Roberts, Corporal Longoria, Deputy Ezell, Deputy Hayes, Deputy Weigel, Deputy Molson, and Deputy Boyd. Please come forward if you're in attendance. Let's get over a little bit more here, Corporal. There you go. Just right, close. That's one of that whole line of deputies. This is the nomination for the award, and these awards are passed through our awards committee, who review the nominations and then give a yay or nay to these nominations. Corporal Longoria learned of an elderly widow living on Social Security that had been a victim of fraud. Her neighbor's house burned down, and during this fire, it caused her utility shed to also burn. She received an insurance payout for her shed and paid a guy, to build her a new one. Unfortunately, she paid him up front, and he never returned to build her shed. After learning of this, Corporal Longoria made a few phone calls and was able to get all the building materials donated for the project by Franklin Building Supply. Sergeant Daniels and Sergeant Crawford's team agreed to do the work and build her a new shed and repair her fence. On April 17th of 2018, the teams built the shed and repaired her fence on their days off. This type of community service goes above and beyond what's expected of our members. This is not the first time Sergeant Daniels and Sergeant Crawford's teams have stepped up and gone the extra mile to help a member of our community. This is just another example of their outstanding leadership and selfless service. And our hats are off to you guys. Thank you for Congratulations. No, we're just standing. I'm sorry. We appreciate it. Do you have family in the audience that want to get photographs? Yes, no? No. Okay, good. Wait, we've got somebody taking pictures. You're good? Perfect. Thank you, guys. Well done. Very, very excellent representation of our office and law enforcement in general. We greatly appreciate that. The next award is the Life Saving Medal. The Life Saving Medal is intended for all Sheriff's Office members directly responsible for saving a human life. The award committee has reviewed this case and voted unanimously that Sergeant Brian Crawford and Deputy Justin Wright receive the Life Saving Medal for their outstanding efforts. Will Deputy Daniel Ezell please step forward? Do I have that right? At this. Okay.
My mistake.
My mistake. I should have read it.
Go back away.
No. You're at the right spot. The other names, I apologize. So, I'm going to read this nomination. On May 3rd, 2018, at approximately 10:25 hours, Deputy Weigel and Deputy Ezell responded to a capsized boat on Lake Lowell near Sportsman's Access No. 1. The caller stated that his boat had capsized and he was holding on to a tree in the water. The caller stated he did not have a life jacket, but his friend did. Deputy Weigel and Deputy Ezell arrived at approximately 10:31 hours. The ambient air temperature was 52 degrees, with a water temperature in the low 40-degree range. That's very cold. Deputy Ezell took off his duty gear, put on his life jacket, and grabbed his throw rope. Deputy Weigel and Deputy Ezell set out on foot to find the subjects. Deputy Ezell was able to locate the subjects approximately 400 yards from the shore. The subjects were at the edge of an open water in the trees. Deputy Ezell swam out to the subjects at approximately 10:49 hours. Deputy Ezell stated the water was too deep for him to touch the bottom and noticed a life jacket floating nearby. He retrieved the life jacket and put it on the calling party. Deputy Ezell noticed that the boat was still upright, just full of water. He was able to get the attention of another boater and borrowed a jacket from that boat. Deputy Ezell bailed the water out of the boat and was able to get the subjects back into the boat. Deputy Ezell then assisted in getting the boat and occupants back to the shore. With the subjects being in the 40-degree water for close to an hour, hypothermia was a major concern. If not for the action of Deputy Ezell, both men could have suffered a different fate. Congratulations and thank you for your selflessness there. That's a heroic indeed to help those folks out. And now I'm told in my notes I have to turn this over to Chief DeShill.
All right. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for showing up on this. We've got some command staff members that aren't here today. They're actually attending communication center graduation. So we've got, I think, 3 people over graduating from Communication Academy today. So that's something else we should recognize what's going on today too. So
The first. Okay, right.
it's the first one under the new law that was adopted last year for certification requirements. But all of you that know the sheriff, he doesn't like to be outdone. In fact, he was called out last night by Caldwell Police Chief in a lip sync contest, so we'll see what happens with that. He likes to be at the front of everything that's going on, and he likes to surprise his wife a lot with different events. So earlier in the year, he was headed up to the Sheriff's Conference and happened to be traveling on Mother's Day, taking Jeannie up to Coeur d'Alene for kind of a getaway and attendance at the conference, but the flight wasn't uneventful. And there was a medical emergency. A gentleman in the front row of the flight went unconscious, and bodily fluids that are supposed to stay inside your body, in your veins and arteries and stuff like that, started leaving his body very rapidly. The sheriff worked with a crew member and eventually a nurse that was on board the plane, stabilized the victim. Sheriff took command of the plane, other than flying it sounds like, in the report that he wrote. And pretty much had everything. They got the guy. They actually had to keep him down on the bulkhead floor while the plane was coming in. They had administered oxygen, got him consciousness, had come back. The pilot, according to the report, was making emergency landing, so I can imagine coming down, especially in those small aircraft. Doubt that it was that smooth coming down, but the sheriff and some crew members and the other personnel were helping stay down on the floor outside their seats as well while this was coming in, and medical personnel met him at the tarmac, got the victim off for treatment and everything else. This scene was, a lot of us have been in law enforcement or paramedics, fire and everything, have been to scenes that are a mess. Well, this scene was enough of a mess that it took them about another half hour to clean the plane enough to be able to exit the plane for all the passengers. So, and I don't know, there was a stewardess, and she a flight attendant, sorry, political correctness, but was going to try to make it Shelley, and I don't think she was able to make it today, but she had sent a note earlier this year that said, "Dear Kieran, thank you so very much for your selfless help and support on Mother's Day with assisting in saving the gentleman's life. Let's see, we at Southwest Airlines and especially me are forever in your debt. Thank you, Shelley." So, the sheriff's eager to put everything out to our staff and everything else, but this was something that was submitted to the Commendation Awards Committee, and which is not all of our command staff making this decision. It's members of our office from different levels and different sections, and they were the ones that accepted the nomination and therefore providing the life-saving award. I'd like all of the command staff members that are here today that decided to dress down a little bit more than I did to go ahead and come up to the front, and I'd like all the command staff members that are here today to get a picture with us. Yes, Ben, you too.
Oh.
I'll stand behind his head.
Which way we looking? That way, Clinton?
I told you.
Great, thank you guys.
There was one fun part with this, because I think it was the day before yesterday, the sheriff wanted to know what information I was going to be presenting today, and I told him it was none of his business. I was going to try to limit the embarrassment that he shared with everybody else. We'll see. Well earned.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief. Thank you very much, Chief, and I appreciate that's very, I didn't expect that, didn't expect this, and I asked them not to do it after they told me they were going to do it, but I appreciate it greatly. It was a hell of a scene, we would say, the blood that person was throwing up blood and blood clots, and it was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. So we were able to stabilize an airway, and that plane ride down was not one to enjoy. And it was, the pilot did a hell of a job. So did the airline attendants, and it was a team effort. So this is really everybody involved to save that person's life. So appreciate that. Well, we got to do something a little bit lighter than that.
You can go to first aid training next year.
Yeah, I will. Or I can delegate when I'm on the plane, you do this, you do that, instead of me. I didn't take control of the whole plane either. Thank you. My report didn't quite say that. I took command of the scene, as I think I said. I knew he was going to try to embarrass me. So speaking of what the chief brought up about this little challenge that my ex-friend Chief Wyant put out. So, full disclosure, we have been thinking about a lip sync challenge video prior to his little snide remarks at the end of his video. By the way, they did a very good job. Theirs is very well done. The bar is high, and I expect to surpass it. Because I don't, as the chief said, I don't like losing. I don't like coming in second. So we are going to be using some of our staff as a recruitment video. Again, full disclosure, so we're going to be using every section of our office to put this together. We're in the very beginning stages. I've got a team, Lieutenant Ballard, where are you at? I saw you there. Sergeant Crawford, Jason, Corporal Roberts, I know there he is. And others are helping me, and we're literally just getting this thing off the ground. Thankfully, we were doing that before the chief and his words, but they did a good job. I'm sorry?
You need the pink boots?
I don't need the pink boots, no. You will in your segment. So that's awesome. And Lily, quite frankly, thank you for being such a good sport. And really, I think that's what. It's one of the things that separates our agency from others is the camaraderie, the family atmosphere, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, whatever you want to say. And it truly is remarkable. And I think I sent to Irma a quick message for the newsletter, and it really talks about how this agency does stand up when others may fear to tread, we go in. And that's all law enforcement, but we're especially proud of this agency. I am proud to lead it. And you guys never ever let us down. We're always moving a forward motion and an upward motion, and we really do appreciate that. So, with that being said, I think that concludes our little thing here, right, Deborah? Thank you, Chief, for doing that, and all those on the committee. So, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for supporting your fellow officers and colleagues for the work they've done. Okay, very good. Thanks, Gary.